Welcome to another live edition of Pittsburgh Sportsline in the BPTV studios. Thanks for watching us during our COVID times. Hope you're staying safe, healthy, and warm with the cold spell we've had, because this is winter in Pittsburgh. Some people don't realize it gets cold and we have snow, because last year, Smoking Jim, how much snow did we have last year? See? That CTE didn't sink in yet. He answered the question intelligently. We're off to a good start. I'm Al Levine, the talking machine. I got to give a shout out to Antoinette, who I met last night at the Market District in Bethel Park. She's an older lady. She told me her age. I'm a gentleman. I did not ask. She said, I'm 80 years old, and I know who you are. You're on TV. And she goes, you're Al Levine. And I tried to help her put her groceries in her trunk. She goes, I'm 80. I'm in good shape. I don't need any help, but thank you, and I watch your show all the time. So Antoinette, hello. It was nice to meet you, and keep watching. We'll try to behave ourselves, and hopefully your other friends at Thomas More are watching us too. So we appreciate that. We got Smoking Jim Frazier, we got Chip Hayner, and our rookie performing for us, Nick Callis. And we have some promos here to say. We got Connor on the camera, Anthony on the audio and video, and I'll put up, let's see what we get here. Thanks, Nick. You get an assist. Olive Oil's Pizzeria at Hillcrest Shopping Center, 412-831-1900. Great Italian food. We used to eat the pizzas and hoagies, but we've been banned on it. I'm going to check to see if we could possibly sneak a couple slices of pizza in for us, so we'll see what happens. If the same owner, Frank, is there, we'll have to find out, because he loves our show and he loves sponsoring us, so we'll check that out. Stay tuned. Next up, we end each show with Stay Joey Strong. Look at the camera work by Connor. Even though he's wearing shorts and Smoking Jim's bundled up like an Eskimo, because guess what? He doesn't notice hot or cold weather. But he told all of us, I do get sick. So I don't understand whether it's hot or cold, and then how do you get sick? So it's beyond me. But back to Joey Fabus Childhood Cancer Foundation. Poor Joey. His birthday's on February 26th. It'll be 7 years ago that he passed away at 9 years old in January. And they've honored him. He had the dreaded DIPG brain cancer that's a death sentence for anybody that gets it. They raised over $100,000 with events and different things they do and gave it to doctors to try to find a cure. So if you want to donate or help out, please do that. As little as $1. It's a 501c3. Next up, another 501c3. Let's see. Look at Connor's too fast. I couldn't even talk about it. The Bethel Park Historical Society Schoolhouse Arts and History Center, 2600 South Park Road. You know the routine, the red trolley that's up there, been there for years. It's not a T, it's a trolley. They have businesses there. It's a schoolhouse from 1905. It's been restored, rejuvenated with windows, a roof. The old bell from the Bethel Park High School is back there in the cupola there. It's a pretty cool place, and they have a great library, historical military uniforms, all the yearbooks from Bethel Park, so it's pretty cool. They also have my favorite tea place, Reginald's Coffee, which they have great roasted coffee that people rave about. I like the loose leaf green tea Dragonwell, and it's always very good there. So I'll have to stop in someday when it warms up a little bit, because you got to eat outside or drink outside. Next up, another, I'm on a roll here, 501c3. Bethel Park Community Foundation has money for you. It's grant money from $100 to $5,000, and it's for your group and organization doing great things in Bethel Park. Unlike the conversation Smoking Jim says he needs the money, because we don't know what he does with it. But somehow he brags about spending $250 at the casino on bets every day. And who knows what happens there. I still want to see some records and receipts. And if he's losing that much, if he makes any income, he can write some of that off. So that would be an interesting thing. You got to see John Panaris and how to do taxes.
Austin P tonight.
If you don't bet, don't start. If you heard him, do the opposite, except in the Super Bowl for this year. But go to www.bpcf.org, get an application. Every couple months we have a meeting, and they can approve your grant and see what happens. We've given out over $1 million in 25 years to Bethel Park community groups here, so it could happen. Next up, Smokin' Jim likes to kid me about being, on this show, and Dave Cable has fun at my expense. Smokin' Jim says everything I do is great, so look at that great smile on Uncle Sam. I want you for BPTV like Nick, like Connor. Nick's got in because he grew up in Greentree and lives in Greentree like I did, went to Keystone Oaks. So it's not nepotism, but I lean towards my alma mater. He's now on the show, and he's
the owner too, right? Smokin' Jim.
Well, I checked the veracity of it, and I just wanted to counter that because even though I lean towards Greentree, as Antoinette knows and says, she goes, I like how you tell the truth on the show, and some of your guys exaggerate a little bit. And Antoinette, if you're still watching, you know who they are, but I'll just control the young puppy here. BPTV is actually owned by the community. It's a public access station. And luckily, Smokin' Jim didn't understand what the heck Nick was talking about, and he thought he was right. So I let it go the last time, but I can only let it sneak past some of our fans at Smokin' Jim, and that's what happens there. But you can be here and join in on the fun. And since Smokin' Jim's accident, he's been back now a couple weeks. He's in rare form, but he still has a little hitch to his giddy-up, even though he denies it, because, again, I'm an honest man and I feel fine, he always says. And I know that's not the truth, but we'll keep rooting for him. Call 412-831-3304, and you can join in on the party every Thursday night, 7 o'clock to 8. So thanks again, everybody. And What's on Your Mind is sponsored by Skeets Lewandowski. Here's where I test. I'm a little nervous. Connor's ready. Look at how prepared he is. This is live TV, folks, so Connor's doing his best. His knees are cold, but his fingers are warm. Look at that. Skeets Service Station. 6103 Route 88, Library Road, about 6 miles from here. Red, white, and blue station, no gas pumps. They work on anything and everything that runs on gas. You name it. Tractors, boats, cars, weed whackers, hedge trimmers, anything that runs on gas. They even have electric tools that they can work on and fix for you. And they're just a great all-around shop there. And Smokin' Jim and I get our cars and vehicles inspected there, and they do a nice job. Just honest mechanics, and it's great to go out there. Check them out, 724-348-4715. Tell them Uncle Al sent you. All right, Smokin' Jim Frazier. I hate to ask, but what's on your mind?
Thanks, Al Levine, the talking machine. And if you want the green,
coming at you a little
got
one.
to see Levine.
Oh,
Hey,
good.
sad day, we lost a great Pittsburgher. They can't blame it on COVID, but Rush Limbaugh passed away, and I heard somewhere they may put his face on a $20 bill. I'm not sure. Or was that Harriet Tubman?
Oh,
actually, he was from Cape Girardeau, Missouri.
That's what I get.
He worked in Pittsburgh.
KQV,
For-
2 terms.
Yeah.
KQV,
Yeah, that's
under a
Pittsburgh.
different name.
For a very short time, he is not a Pittsburgher.
Okay.
Well, hey, Tony from Chick-fil-A, the race card come out within 30 seconds.
Got it. Smokin' Jim, that's for you. Here.
Oh, okay.
Signed by me. There you go. The official sponsor, Nicholas Callis, race card of the episode.
Yeah, so that did come out. And there's a guy that doesn't talk about racism, but how did he throw Harriet Tubman in when somebody was talking about Rush Limbaugh, who's not a fan of black people? So that's what's bothersome with the truth of Smoking Jim Frazier. He's not a fan of your people.
Well, here's. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry, Chip.
Speaking of race, the Daytona 500 was run last Sunday.
Yes.
Yeah, because it messed up my Steinfeld. Went over. Yeah, I turned it on. I'm like, what's this going on? I want to see Steinfeld. But anyhow, hey, Al Levine, the Talking Machine. I like to continue to promote books I haven't read. Steve Spurrier, Old Ball Coach. Looks like a great book. I forgot to get you a birthday present in October. Here you go, Al Levine, the Talking Machine. Checking out some good pictures there.
Hey, everything critical I said of Smoking Jim, I adhere to that. Look that up in the dictionary, but thank you for my belated true birthday present from June 30th, not October 11th, 2011.
And just to make sure we're clear, he hasn't even read the title.
Yes. Head ball coach.
I like that.
You didn't even know that. Gosh darn it.
How long does it take you to comb your chips?
I don't know.
Impressive, brother.
I don't know.
Hey, here's a question I always wanted to ask Chip.
Thank you for the
Here's a
compliment.
question I always wanted to ask you, Chip. When you gonna wash your truck? Come on, man. No pride and ownership, bro.
I drove it back and forth to work this morning in a snowstorm, so it's covered in road salt.
But hey, Nick asked me earlier, Al Levine, the Talking Machine, what I got on here.
Yeah.
You guys can't wear this. See, I got a little Indian in me. See,
Another race card. Where's the
I
flag?
was told.
Another race card.
I was told it's less than 2%, maybe even less than 1%. But I do got a drop, so I can wear this and feel proud to wear.
I just have one question. How much did it cost?
I can't remember.
Bingo. And what size are the shoes that you walked in here with that hitch? What size are those 18 shoes?
You mean the water skis?
Yes.
But hey, what's
Other
on
than
my
that, keep talking.
what's on my mind is,
Yes.
I tell you what, real quick. Everybody knows my brother and his family that lives in Dallas.
No, we don't.
We
Well,
don't.
my brother. That
No,
lives in
we
Dallas.
actually,
I don't.
Smoking Jim, I never met
Well,
them.
he's a millionaire. He lives in
Is he like the lady Snow that came on location to our
Man,
show?
was she good looking?
Where you
boy.
said, you know Snow, Machine.
Everybody knows.
I didn't know Snow.
Blonde, blue eyes.
I didn't know.
Everybody knows. About
What?
6 foot tall. Everybody knows Snow.
I didn't know Snow, and I don't know your brother.
But my brother's a millionaire.
Okay.
Lives in an $850,000.
What's his name?
house
What's
in,
his name?
Scott.
Okay, thank you.
And he don't
Him
have a
and
black-
names are
He don't
weak.
have a black name. We're a little disappointed. But hey, Machine. Hey, I saved the day. Now my brother got all kind of advanced degrees. This is high education. I got a
What
general-
happened to you?
I got a general studies major, and I took a class on something like common sense right before my archery class. And I called him up. And
Did
I
you
said,
pass or fail the common sense?
Well, I got a B because I called it bow and arrow. And it's archery. But hey,
Which general did you study?
yeah.
Sue.
But-
General Soap.
But I called him up and I says, hey, it's cold out there in Dallas. Let your water run. The whole state of Texas is out of power, but my brother got power because he listened to the general studies major, brother. Drip, drip, drip. He still got water, man.
Hold it. Smoking Jim, I'm proud of you, but just letting the water drip doesn't mean you're one of the 5 million that doesn't have power. You still don't have power,
Oh,
some
yeah,
of
no
them.
power.
Yeah.
He don't have power, but
He
he
has
got
water.
Yeah, their pipes froze.
Yeah.
But his is good. But here you go, real quick. Got to give a little credit to baseball. Even though I don't like baseball,
Right.
they do it right. Basketball, anybody gets in the Hall of Fame. You dribble a ball, you get in. Football's getting too lax on their Hall of Fame. Baseball does it right. It should be something. I could care less about a Hall of Fame, but it should be something you're gonna be the best of the best, to get in. I still say Calvin Johnson don't deserve to be a first ballot.
Who told
Hall
you
of
he'd be
Famer.
in?
You did.
Thank
But
you.
you was wrong. Here's the arguments about Calvin Johnson. I'm hearing, oh, he's Megatron. He was so big. 6'5", 240, 4'3", 340. Chase Claypool is the same guy. I ain't hear nobody calling him Megatron, even though I said he's the best receiver in Steeler history.
Hold
Yes,
it.
they
They
did.
say
They call him Mapletron.
Mapletron.
They make references to Calvin Johnson all the
It's
time
like
with
the
him.
same thing, Smoking Jim. Let me explain. The left hand is like the right hand. Together.
Well, another argument is he didn't have a quarterback. His third year, they got Matthew Stafford, who's going to be in the Hall of Fame. He put up bigger numbers in 5-6 years than Bradshaw and Troy Aikman. And by the way, none of their receivers was a first ballot Hall of Famer. Antonio Brown got more catches and yards than him. Antonio ain't played the last 2 years. He ain't never going to the Hall of Fame. You know what I mean? He's not a top 25 receiver, and he quit on the game. There's no way Calvin Johnson should have been a first ballot Hall of Famer this year when Peyton Manning and Charles Johnson went in as a first ballot. And that's what's on my mind. Before you end. And Chip agrees.
I don't like to brag, but I thought he would get in. So
yeah.
I appreciate being right on that, and I got to ignore everything Smoking
like
Jim
you
said.
Too, he don't deserve it though. Not first
I didn't say
ballot.
that.
Oh,
The reason why he
I didn't say that.
the reason why he got in is because he had a catchy nickname.
Yes.
And he was a media darling. Okay?
Yeah.
But I mean, to be honest with you, based on the receivers that are not in the Hall of Fame now,
Thank you.
I mean, to be honest with you, Reggie Wayne's credentials were better than his.
Yeah.
And he should have gone in. I felt that,
I don't argue with that.
you know, so,
I don't.
you know, but Jim argued that point because he was only the second best receiver
Yeah.
on that team.
Yeah.
But both receivers had over 1,100 catches in their career.
Good point. Good point.
Yes.
Hard to argue that.
Okay.
There you go. Smoking Jim conceded that. All right, let's get the Chip Hainer. What's on your mind?
Well, I'm going to cut my What's on My Mind segment short this evening, or make it short, and I'm going to make it sweet. First, I want to criticize Jim. Criticize my truck and how dirty it is. I've been driving the same vehicle for 8 years. How many vehicles have you been driving in the last 8 years?
5. I think 5. I think he had 5.
No, he totaled 5.
Where'd you get your vehicle at? Monroeville.
Yes, I did.
Yes, quality.
So anyhow, what's on my mind? I could not be happier. Spring training has begun. Pitchers and catchers reported yesterday. Let's go Bucks. My other thing that's on my mind, has anybody, and I think we ought to put his face on a milk carton. I think we should have whatever we should put him on the news, on worldwide. Where is Evgeny Malkin? Has anybody seen Evgeny Malkin this year?
No.
Here's a man who's getting paid $10 million a year to not show up and play. That's what's on my mind.
That was short and sweet. Thank you, Chip. All right, we'll go to our rookie panelist here. Nick, what's on your mind?
Shamrock Shakes to start. Those are back. Yes. Shamrock Shakes. Big deal. Gonna go get one probably after this show.
And a
Love those.
McRib.
No, Shamrock Shake. Not a big Rick Rib guy. But anyway, as it relates to sports, I was given an idea to Al for his on-location segments when those resume sometime in the future. Take Smoking Jim and Chip out with me and do a little baseball duel. One of us pitches and one of us hits because Smoking Jim thinks that he's, he claims that he played baseball.
There is
For a
no,
while.
I'll tell you that over the years I would ask him one person verify it.
Yeah.
I'm up to, I need 17 people to verify what he did.
All right, well.
Because we've never had any second claim of anything he's done.
All right, well, yeah, I mean, I was just thinking, I'm like, young
With
guy,
baseball.
I
With
played
baseball.
in college. We'll see how well he does either pitching or hitting. So I think that'd be an interesting on-location idea. So I guess tell us on
Wait,
social
I got to
media.
interrupt you. You
Yeah,
know,
go
I
ahead.
like butting in. How about this? See if he can hold a glove and throw the ball underhanded to him and see if he could catch.
Great. I mean, hey, that's
what I would rather
That's the segment.
see. Yes.
We'll do it all.
I had to give
we'll
my
start baby
input
steps.
because he's an honest man. I had to give my input. I rest my
for
case.
sure, yeah. But I mean,
Great
let us know.
topic.
I mean, I think that'd be an excellent on location. I'd be down for it to go play some baseball once the weather gets
Sure.
warm with Smoking Jim and all of his talents or lack thereof.
You got me thinking since you brought it up.
Okay.
We may do a little segment outside in the parking lot and hopefully away from the police cars and the canine dog.
Yeah.
Because I can only imagine his scatter arm, and you know what I mean with a scatter arm. They look at
Joe
you and
Morgan.
throw the ball everywhere
Like
else.
Joe Morgan.
No, we're talking about throwing the ball. Because I want to see if he can throw the ball and step with the opposite foot.
Right,
And if he
no,
can
that's-
catch, he's a right-hander. I want to see if he puts a mitt on his left hand or his right hand and then tries to throw the ball with the mitt. That's why I asked about a mitt.
On location.
Now you know. So we
On
got the
location,
test.
Coming in April.
Coming soon. When it's warmer.
When it's warmer.
Yes,
yeah.
whenever that may be. Anything else?
Yeah, baseball needs to change. I'm going to talk about that later in my more open segment, but
Okay.
we'll get into discussion about that. But that's the basics of what's on my mind.
All right, we'll move on. I just have one thing. Ben Roethlisberger. What is going on with the contract? It's like they never knew about this and never knew it would be a problem. And the Steelers have always been excellent with the cap and maneuvering things. So to me, I'm a conspiracy guy with facts. And it looks like Big Ben might be gone because what's he supposed to get, Chip, like $19 million this year?
21, I think.
No, he's
Or is it-
supposed to get $22 million.
Okay, 22.
And right now he's on the Steelers are on the hook for $41 million.
Right.
If they do not renegotiate his contract.
Right, so there's no way that they can keep him with that $41 million. And if they have him make an offer, what's he going to make an offer? $13 million, $18 million?
See, Alan, here's this whole thing, and I listened to the interview with Colbert yesterday, and basically, here's what we know right now. We know the same amount we knew last week,
Yes.
which is nothing.
Right.
Okay, here's what we know. The Steelers said that they would like to keep Ben. Ben said he would like to play only if they can find a way to make it work financially with the salary cap limitations that they have and the number of unrestricted free agents that they have, some of which they may want to keep.
Right.
Okay? Right now, do we have any answers to any of these questions?
No.
No. So everything that is going on right now is complete and utter speculation. Here's what's going to happen. They're going to figure something out, and everything is going to work itself out. And, because that's what they do.
Right.
I mean, we don't know all the ins and outs and everything that they have to concern themselves with. But one thing the Steelers have historically been really good at, figuring out.
That's what I alluded to, and that's what I said a couple weeks ago. Just remember Bobby Bonilla's contract. That could be the solution. $1 million a year.
Can I share something
Yes.
with you? When Bobby Bonilla gets his last $1.13 million check
Right.
from the New York Mets, will be the exact same time when Fernando Tatis gets his last paycheck from the San Diego Padres.
Wow, what a coincidence.
Really?
No, not coincidence, just because when he was around.
Tatis signed
well,
a
that's what I
signed a
mean.
deal
He's
for
already got-
$340 million for 14 years. That's when
Yeah.
Bobby Bonilla will still continue to get
Wow.
$1.13 million every June 30th.
My deal for the Steelers and Big Ben, $1 million per year for 25
And
years.
I tell you what, Bobby Bonilla's kissing his agent every single June 30th.
That's one of the smartest moves I ever heard of an agent making, and look, we're still talking about it. We'll be back with some fiction and fact from Smokin' Jim's Almanac.
Thanks, Al Levine, the talking machine. My main man, Chip Hayner, in the house with the dirty ride. My favorite fullback, Nick, is here. How about the toughest guy I know? Connor with the shorts on, Nike sweat socks, and the Gucci hoodie. And my man, we never hear out of place, Anthony on the ones and twos, making us look good. Hey, can you believe
No.
This is still Black History Month, the shortest month of the year.
Hold it up.
Yes, sir.
Hold it up. The
Oh,
card.
oh yeah. Still Black History Month.
What a coincidence.
But can you believe that Bill Nunn and Chuck Cooper played on the same high school
I saw that.
Yes,
Yes,
I saw that.
basketball team?
Yes,
Yes.
I did.
And then
I believe it. I saw
then they
it.
both went to college at West Virginia State together.
I saw that.
I didn't see it. Now,
Chuck Cooper put it up there.
see, I didn't know that.
And
but,
you know him.
Yeah, but here's the
You must have
thing.
missed it looking
That
at
ain't
a sweetie.
That ain't my Black history.
Oh, okay.
My Black history is also on that team. Now, they won City League, of course, when they were at Westinghouse. They go to West Virginia State, and who's also there is Earl Lloyd. Now, you ask who Earl Lloyd is.
Yeah, who is he?
I got a chance to interview him for the Courier when they did the Chuck Cooper Classic at Duquesne University.
Wow.
Earl Lloyd's actually the first Black NBA player.
I knew that.
Now Chuck Cooper left because he had to go into the Navy.
Right.
So he left. When he came back, he went to Duquesne. That same year, now Bill Nunn had a chance to go to the NBA, maybe not drafted, but he opted to make more money with the Harlem Globetrotters. Right?
Sure. That's
And-
smart. That seems smart to me.
Yeah, throw confetti. So now Earl Lloyd, Chuck Cooper's the first Black drafted in the NBA draft.
Right.
Earl Lloyd goes in that same draft, and another Nate Sweetwater Clifton
I saw that.
also gets drafted.
I saw that also.
See, I didn't see the article.
Yeah, I did a couple of them. So.
Was that my article?
No,
or
you're
was mine?
paraphrasing it. So
Okay.
yeah. Yeah.
So
Very
now, the thing is,
Yeah. What is the point?
Sweetwater Clifton is the first to sign in the NBA.
Yeah.
Chuck Cooper's first to draft at the NBA.
And Earl's the
But
first
Earl's
to play.
the first to play by one day. He plays in the NBA, and he told me so many things. You know, it's just.
Tell us one thing.
Well, the one thing that he told me was that he was 6'6",
Yeah.
and he was a heck of a scorer. Because they won the national championship when he was at West Virginia State,
Yeah.
and the team captain was Bill Nunn.
Yeah.
And 26-0, but they were all scorers. But when they had to be part of a team.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He was a devastating rebounder, did what he had to do, but he said they never had it as hard as Jackie Robinson. It was a lot easier in 1950 than it was when Jackie came in, because basketball's always been somewhat integrated, even though there wasn't any Blacks in the NBA.
How can you
know.
make that statement then?
Well, you asked me what he said. I'm telling you what he said. The man was 80-some years old when I interviewed him. What you want me to do? Wrestle the answers out of him? But what an honor to interview the first Black player in NBA history.
And when did you find out that he was?
When he told me.
Okay. Just checking. Just checking.
I didn't have to do no research. I just take your word for it, brother. Why would he lie? But
And
what an honor. Look at all the things that's happening for Chuck Cooper now.
yeah, and how about my connection to that when I put up the picture of my dad refereeing a basketball game with Shenley versus Westinghouse.
Love that. Oh, man.
So-
Almost brought tears to my eyes, man.
Wow, thank you,
Because
buddy.
you didn't put up Gateway.
Why would I? City League Championship.
City was great.
All right.
But that's it.
Thank you, Smoking Jim.
Well, thank you very much. And Jim's paying tribute to the first African American players to make it to the NBA. Well, let's not forget about Major League Baseball. The first league, well, you could say the NFL did, but not really.
Yeah.
But the first league to actually break the color barrier, Major League Baseball. Jackie Robinson in the summer of 1947 played for the Brooklyn Dodgers. But let's also pay tribute to Larry Doby. First
Yeah.
African American to play in the junior circuit, played for the Cleveland Indians. But what I'd like to make note too, in honor of Black History Month, is one of the very integral parts of Major League Baseball history. which was the Negro Leagues. And it got me to thinking, I wonder how many players from the Negro Leagues have finally been
Great
enshrined
question.
at Cooperstown.
Great
And the
question.
answer to that question is there 35 Negro League legends are in the Baseball Hall of Fame. Okay, and the Negro Leagues and African American baseball at large often rivaled the major leagues both at the gates and in the national consciousness in the first half of the 20th century, but those leagues were created out of an unfortunate necessity. The color line, instituted in white organized baseball in the late 1800s, forced many of America's most talented ball players to write their legends outside of the majors. Jackie Robinson broke the barrier when he debuted with the Dodgers in 1947. Larry Doby did it later that year. And it would take another 24 years and a public plea from Ted Williams for the Hall of Fame to induct its first Negro League star.
Ted Williams.
Okay, so below is a rundown of the 35 Negro League players. And let me ask my friend Jim, in honor of Black History, who was the last Major League Baseball team to become integrated?
Well, I traced it my roots, and they go all the way back to the Blues and Braves, the St. Louis Blues and the Homestead Braves.
No.
Homestead.
No. The last,
I know the answer.
the
to that
last
question.
Oh, do you?
Major League
All right,
team
ask Nick.
to become integrated. That was a team.
Oh, all right. No, that's Philly.
No.
Philadelphia.
No,
Ask
No.
Nick.
The Boston Red Sox did in 1970.
there you go.
No way. There was blacks before that.
No.
Not in Boston.
No way.
Not in Boston. Bingo.
No.
Okay, so let me give you a quick rundown
Yes, really.
of the 35 players
Eat that race card.
that were inducted into the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame. Number one, probably one of the most famous players from the Negro Leagues, Satchel Paige in 1971. Satchel Paige
2,500 games he pitched. He won over 2,000 and had hundreds of no-hitters.
He finally got his shot at the major leagues at age 42 in 1948. And it's a shame because he would have put to shame a lot of superstars. So we'll leave it at that. Next up, Josh Gibson from the Homestead Grays and the Pittsburgh Crawfords.
Nice.
Josh Gibson in 1972. Another one of the Homestead Grays, stalwarts, Buck Leonard in 1972, followed by Monty Irvin. And Monty Irvin played with in the same outfield with Willie Mays in the early 50s for the New York Giants.
Smoking Jim's learning some black history.
See?
I tried to help him read
Next
so he'd know
up,
this stuff.
he's got the most famous nickname, and I've heard Jim use it time and time again. 1974, Cool Papa Bell. Okay. Next up, another one of the Negro League superstars, Judy Johnson in 1975. And quite possibly the player that was most compared to Ty Cobb in the Negro Leagues was Oscar Charleston in 1976. He was probably the biggest star of the Negro Leagues in the history.
That's why I didn't read
1977,
the book.
Martin Dihigo. Dihigo may have been the most versatile player in baseball history. Second base was just the beginning for the lanky Cuban native who would master every position on the diamond, save catcher, and as he filled out his frame. Next up, Pop Lloyd, 1977, followed by Rube Foster, 1981, Ray Dandridge in 1987.
Poor
Leon
Smoking Jim.
Day in 1995, Bill Foster in 1996, Willie Wells in 1997. Great as Ozzie Smith is, wrote Buck O'Neill about Willie Wells.
I heard of Buck O'Neill.
Bullet Joe Rogan, 1998.
Yeah.
Smokey Joe Williams in 1999.
Oh, yeah.
Turkey Stearns
No,
in year
Smokey.
2000, followed by Hilton Smith in 2001. Smith often played Robin to Satchel Paige's Batman, spelling Page in relief for the Monarchs.
Wow.
Ray Brown in 2006, followed by Willard Brown in 2006. And in 2006, quite a number of Negro League stars got elected into the Hall of Fame. Andy Cooper was elected in 2006. Frank Grant in 2006. Pete Hill, Biz Mackey in 2006. Effa Manley, Jose Mendez, 2006.
Wow.
Alex Pompez, Cumberland Posey. Now, what significance does Cumberland Posey have?
That sounds familiar.
You may ask, Jim Frazier. Homestead Grays were the powerhouse of the East under Posey's ownership. He fielded 11 separate Hall of Fame players on his roster at various points, aggressively assembling top-end clubs year in and year out. Pittsburgh Courier sports writer Wendell Smith wrote that Posey was the smartest man in Negro League baseball and certainly the most successful.
Wow.
Louis Santop, 2006. Mule Suttles in 2006. Ben Taylor in 2006. Cristobal Torriente. Sol White. J.L. Wilkinson. All of these players were elected into the Hall of Fame.
Why was that such a
in
popular
2006? It's a good question.
Thank you.
I'd have to do some reading.
I figured you would.
We don't need the dead air. I'll answer that question for you next week. Okay?
Thank you.
Follow up. I'll answer that on What's on My Mind. Tune in next Thursday
There's
night.
a teaser for you. Tune in.
Judd Wilson in 2006.
Another one.
Ranked among the strongest men to step foot on a Negro League diamond, earning the nickname Boojum for the sound of his line drives bouncing off the outfield walls.
Wow. Thanks for sharing that. Smoking Jim's looking
So
that
there you
word
go.
up.
There's a quick rundown of the 35 Negro League players that have been enshrined in Cooperstown, and I'm sure there's more that belong.
Yes.
But for the time being, now you take into account there are players that played in the Negro Leagues that played in the Major League Baseball and whose careers warranted them making the Hall of Fame. Players such as Willie Mays,
Yeah.
Hank Aaron, Jackie Robinson.
Sure.
There were players that have crossed over that made the Major League Hall of Fame based on their Major League careers, but they started out in the Negro League. So
As soon as I give baseball a little credit about being tough to get in the Hall of Fame, now here it sounds like they letting anybody in.
Well, no.
Whoa, that's so
I think
disrespectful.
it's
I
Hold
never
on.
heard of some of these guys.
No,
You
Well,
haven't
never
heard of
any
that?
of them. You
Point.
didn't watch.
That's what I was gonna say. Like, I don't know some of those guys, but like,
If I hadn't told you that there was Negro League baseball, you probably wouldn't know about it.
Can I ask one
What?
question?
No,
Yeah.
Chip, I beat you on that when we first started the show.
Here's some-
Negro baseball book I gave him.
Here's
17
here's
pages.
something else for next week in addition to the 2006. Can you find out how many of my people were in the Baseball Hall of Fame? We got any of my
There's been
Indian
Indians that played in baseball.
Okay.
I don't know if
I don't
they're in the
think any
Hall
of
of
them made the Hall
Fame.
of
That's
Fame,
what
though.
I want to know for my people.
Well, Lou Bordeaux, he played for the Cleveland Indians.
He Indian?
There was Bob Feller. He pitched for the Cleveland
He went
Indians.
Blackfoot. He went Blackfoot.
oh, I understand what
Oh,
you're
okay,
doing.
yeah. They played for the Cleveland Indians.
Yes.
Yeah, so,
Oh, I got you.
Now I understand.
hey, way over.
Thank you, Chip Hayner. We'll move on to Nick and his special segment here.
Okay.
You teased us with it. What do you
did.
got?
Baseball needs to change.
All right.
Yes. Now, I was talking to Anthony, the one who's running the control room right now, before the show, and he was talking about how baseball was his least favorite sport. So I started asking questions. I'm like, why? Partially it's because Pittsburgh doesn't have a good team right now, and there's nobody he can recognize. But he also says that it's just not interesting. He's a bit torn on whether he would spend money on a Steeler ticket versus a ticket to Kennywood. But when it's
Good analogy.
when it's a Kennywood ticket versus a Pirate ticket, he's for sure on Kennywood. So it's like, why is that?
Same with Smoking Jim.
Right? Would you rather go to Kennywood than a Pirate game?
Oh, yeah.
Because the gangs hang out there.
To be honest with you,
Oh, wow.
to be honest with you, I'd rather go to a Pirate game than a Steelers game every day.
No, I'm the same way, but the problem is that not everybody who is my age wants to go to a baseball game. Like I
Well,
could,
they have strong thumbs, so
exactly.
that's why.
But like I could more easily now find a pickup game of basketball to play than a pickup game of baseball, and I hate that.
See, when I was a kid, it was the other way around.
Exactly, but that's
I mean, all you had to do was have your ball and your glove and a bat, and you
We didn't have full teams. We
No,
played with dead balls in right
I didn't
field.
have to walk more than a block from my house to find a
Yeah.
game.
But part of
We
the
played in the streets.
right,
Same with
no, like-
us.
no, and
Yeah.
Car,
And Greentree.
Alan, car.
Yeah.
Ca-
Look out, car. Okay, get off
Yeah,
the.
everybody get off the
For
street.
sure.
Smoking Jim never heard of that.
Jeez. Oh.
No, sorry, he didn't.
No, but like that's part of the problem is like I wish that baseball were more like appealing to people in my generation because I appreciate the sport, I understand it, and I want to play because
Yeah, you
I feel like
enjoy
I'm
it.
still talented and I have fun.
Well,
with it.
and to speak to your point, and we had this little bit of this conversation, and I don't mean any disrespect to anybody, and certainly I don't mean any disrespect to Anthony, but one of the questions I asked Anthony, I said, did you ever play the game of baseball? And he said no. And I'm like, well, it's no small wonder that you don't really have any interest in the game. And I think one of the things that has happened over, say, the last 30 years or so is that there are fewer baseball organizations, less and less kids are playing the game than there were when Alan and I were kids.
Yeah.
So you'd see a significant higher number of people my age that are interested in baseball because we played the game and we've played the
Yeah.
game our whole lives and we learned to love it and respect it and that there's just been other things for people to do, whether it's video games or whatever else it may be. Now, is that a flaw for the younger generation? I don't think so.
No.
It's just that they were raised differently. It was different times,
Now,
and they have different interests.
My
But-
dad, my dad, when he was a kid, my dad's a black man, so there wasn't no
Really?
Negroes. There wasn't
Does
no
that mean
Negroes.
Pull
in
it
the
out.
league.
Wait a minute. Does that
Race
mean-
car.
So
Race
Oh
car.
my God!
my dad and his friends would ride their bike to Forbes Field in the back gate, and after the 7th inning.
Well,
they
where'd
could
he
get in
grow
free.
up? Where'd he grow up
He
at?
grew up down south. That's a long bike ride.
Again, I got to question the veracity of his statement. They rode their bikes to Forbes Field, but he lived down south.
And you know what? It was
South out
up,
of state?
Alan.
Yes,
Alan, it was uphill both ways.
right.
In 5 feet of snow.
But he said that's what guess who his favorite player was?
I have
They
no.
used to get in there because they would ride their bike,
Yeah.
get in free in the 7th inning, not to cut you off, Nick, to see
Again.
Connor hit a home run. They was trying to see Connor because he could hit that home
Well,
run. Man.
let me
Is
ask-
that his name, Connor?
Ralph Connor,
But
yes.
Yeah.
Try to spell it.
My dad
Can
said
you
he
spell
could hit
it?
a bomb.
Yeah,
he
but they
couldn't-
still got rid of him because they were still losing.
Yeah, but my dad.
No,
that was
and
like
I'll
his
tell you what.
favorite
Let me
player.
tell you
He
something.
could bomb.
If you could hit the ball out of Forbes Field, you were hitting it a ton.
Yeah, he had what, 50 home runs one year? You was still out?
Many years.
Yeah.
That field was one of the old ones where it used to.
It was a big
It
field.
was a brick wall.
410,
and it was
410.
Forbes Field was so
To center
big
field.
that they would take the batting cage
It was out
and
there.
put it out in center field, and it was so far away from home plate that it actually wasn't in the field of play, but it was within the confines of the stadium.
And me, you,
Yes.
and Nick is in agreement with this. The biggest problem with baseball is there's no standard with the field.
No.
Willie Stargell might
No.
have had 800 home
Nope.
runs
Nope.
if he played in
Nope.
a regular park. He's
No.
playing in Yellowstone
No.
Park. That ain't
No.
fair.
No, I disagree with that.
I
Tell
thought you
him, Nick.
agreed.
The variation of the fields actually makes the game unique, and I wish that they
yeah,
continue
but
to
it keeps
make.
people out of the Hall of Fame.
No, what?
Yeah, if you don't have enough home runs, you'll get in.
Okay, no, but
Don't you
back to
agree?
the.
No, we disagree completely.
I disagree with that.
Is that what's keeping Pete Rose out?
Yes.
Ooh,
Oh, can Nick get back to whatever point he was making here? Because somehow we lost his point there. We're trying to stay focused tonight. All right, well,
Singles don't get you.
okay, get focused.
but the idea is that the Steelers football market promotes winning, right? So
Yes.
there are expectations on the Steelers to win games,
Yes.
which is why Anthony would rather go to a Steeler game. He never played football either, so that's part of that point as well. Is that
We don't hold that against
the
them.
Steelers are appealing because they win and there are expectations on them. With the Pirates, there aren't expectations. They snapped a 20-year losing streak, and everybody was thrilled about that. But the fact is that they shouldn't have even gotten in that position in the
Well,
first
the
place. because-
ownership didn't make the team better when they had the 90-some wins.
Yeah.
Where some teams will get one good player to get them to the 100+ wins.
Well, like the Dodgers won the World
Yeah.
Series, and they signed Trevor Bauer to a to a multi-million-dollar
No, but
contract.
we don't have that philosophy with the ownership here at this point in time.
But that's
and
part
we're
of
a small
me and Nick
market.
agrees a
We're a
lot.
small
See,
market.
Nick, it's because of the mismanagement of the franchise
Yes.
by the ownership, okay? Because if
Previous.
you know, this is before your time, but in 1990, 91, and 92, the Pirates had the best team in baseball, and they didn't make it to the World Series
Right.
once, okay? Now, they almost went bankrupt, and they had to get rid of Bonds, Bonilla, Van Slyke, all the stars from that team, and then the ownership group had to sell to somebody,
Yeah.
and they almost bankrupted the team and had to sell to somebody else who went in the process of almost bankrupting the team again. And after each time that these people almost ruined the franchise by overspending for
Right.
mediocre
For
players,
has-been players.
the team was threatened to be moved out of Pittsburgh before finally Kevin McCarthy became part of an ownership group that got PNC Park built, and then he damn near bankrupted the team until Bob Nutting bought it. And Bob Nutting has been the only owner in the last 40 years who hasn't bankrupted the team, but everybody hates him because they don't think he's committed to winning.
Well,
They could sell you the Brooklyn
What's-
Bridge. You buy anything the Pirates say, man. Come on.
Jim,
but I mean, I think
Jim, it's just the fact.
Can Nick finish his segment here?
I think
Please.
part of the problem is you don't, like when Russell Martin got signed to the team, Francisco Liriano got signed to the team in 2013. You had recognizable players, and I feel like right now, like I don't even know who many of the players are.
Exactly.
The idea is it's like,
It's because they blew it up.
well,
Yeah.
now I'll shorten this explanation.
Okay,
we talked
please.
about
No, don't do
we
it.
talked
Don't
to-
do it.
No,
Okay.
shorten it because he's extended you an extra 8
Yeah.
minutes.
but
8 minutes.
I think that revenue sharing's got to change. Salary cap's got to change. Chip mentioned to me that they've got to start doing something with broadcasting so it's more universal and national, so that everybody can watch the games and that everybody can share that revenue.
Those
Baseball's
things
gotta
aren't
do that.
happening.
Which I mean, they're not. They might not happen, but I'm saying that if you want to appeal to a generation that of guys like me who like instant gratification and want to see their home teams win, you've got to create a scenario where the smaller market teams have a chance to win through competitive balance, through revenue sharing, so that where was I going with it? Spoken Jim.
Yes.
So that you can sign players who have that recognition among the league, like the Trevor Bauers, the Clayton Kershaws,
Yeah.
the Bryce Harpers.
But, you know, then to speak to your point, the Pirates have blown it up. They're rebuilding. And what's going to happen is going to be a new generation that people are going to identify with, and they're going to be the players that are going to help the Pirates win. And you know, and it's a cycle, and that's just the nature of the game.
I fear, because I feel like the Pirates lost for 20 straight years. The Mariners are down that road as well. I fear for the smaller market teams, and I feel like
Well, there's a lot of
as
them
long
that
as
are making it work.
as long as the Yankees and the Dodgers keep spending money, so too will the Yankees and Dodgers keep making the World Series, or we'll keep making the playoffs, which will get them more revenue because
Tampa
they
Bay-
have a chance to win the World
You got
Series.
Tampa
come
Bay
postseason.
and Oakland, who year in and year out are playoff caliber teams. Tampa Bay went to the World Series
point.
last year.
Good point. 2 words. Mark Cuban. That would turn the Pirates around. Mark Cuban.
Okay, that's all right.
They already
Even
told
that,
him no,
that
it's not
makes
for
absolutely
sale.
no sense, and he has absolutely no interest.
The Roonies. He'd be the Roonies.
Thank you, Smoking Jim.
You know what? One
Nick,
thing about
we got that.
Mark Cuban is he's a smart businessman. He's not going to spend more money than he brings in.
He'd open up the dirty O.
Well, Smoking Jim speculating. We appreciate this. Nick, thanks for your segment there. I apologize for my best friend interrupting you and putting some nonsensical points out there like he usually does, and they had no bearing on this whatsoever.
Connor agrees.
Connor's not shaking his head yes to you. He just shook his head yes to me. So we'll clarify that in a minute. We're going to move on to my segment. On location. Smoking Jim, you want to interrupt yet? Please count to 10. We have boxing on March 13th. I don't know the pricing of the tickets yet, but I did get an announcement from Jim with USS Fight Academy. We have a celebrity. You talk about celebrities. What do you think about Aaron Donald will be handing out awards and sitting ringside with the talking machine and smoking Jim Frazier. So we'll be honored to have Aaron Donald there. And I talked to Jim and I said, you know, Smoking Jim knows him. He goes, when I told Aaron Donald you'll be there ringside with Pittsburgh Sportsline, Al Levine, and Smoking Jim, he goes, I know Smoking Jim, even though I grew up in Penn Hills. I just wanted to share a direct quote that I made up because it's true. And that's what we have on location. We're still looking for other on locations. Ernie Keegan, that's written a couple boxing books. He's a boxer. He's a trainer. He helps Jose Carabello with Ray Schaefer Boxing. He has another book coming out, and he wants to know if Smoking Jim and I can interview him on location sometime. So come April, we may be doing an interview with Ernie Keegan. So stay tuned for that on location. Our time's limited. We're at 5:43. Maybe we should just go to our Pittsburgh Penguin segment right now, Anthony. So scrap the commercial. I'm taking command right now. I'm in charge. Pittsburgh Penguins. It's been a tough year so far. They've won some games, and they've been behind in every game, Chip. You can take it off from there.
And right now the Penguins are up on the New York Islanders 1-0 at the end of the first period. Kasperi Kapanen
And even
has
Connor's
scored for
clapping.
the Penguins. Unfortunately, the Penguins will be starting the second period with Sidney Crosby in the penalty box
Whoa.
for hooking. So they'll have 1 minute and
Penalty.
38 seconds of
PK.
power play to start the second period. But here's what the problem is with the division that the Penguins are in. The cream of the crop in our division, Boston Bruins are number one.
Yeah.
Philadelphia Flyers are easily the number 2 team. The Penguins are going to be fighting the Islanders and the Capitals for the 4th playoff spot.
Right.
Of those 3 teams, 2 of them are going to make the playoffs. Right now, the Penguins are sitting at number 5 behind the Capitals and the Islanders. We had 2 games. We had one Sunday, one Tuesday. Won and lost one against the Capitals. We've got 5 more games against the Islanders and the Capitals. These are the teams that we have to make up ground on. And the Islanders just seem to have the Penguins' number. They always have. The Penguins are 3-1 against the Capitals this year. They looked horrible on Tuesday night against the Capitals.
Yes, they did.
And you know, I said this at the beginning of the year, that this was the weakest Penguin team that I have seen start a season in more than a decade. And I said it then, and I'll reiterate it now. I do not believe the Pittsburgh Penguins are a playoff caliber team this year. I don't think they're going to make the playoffs this year. Now, you look at what the new Penguins general manager, Ron Hextall, did. Take a look at the Philadelphia Flyers.
Yeah.
They are a much better team than the Penguins right now. He built that team.
That's right.
And
He
he
got
got into it with ownership, and they said, okay, thanks for your service.
Yeah.
Goodbye. Hopefully, he can help to rebuild the Penguins, but the Penguins are not in a rebuild mode. They are trying to win now, and I expect trades to be made. The trade deadline is about a month away.
Maybe a goaltender will come in.
Well, we'll see. Tristan Jarry has been disappointing, but nowhere near the amount of a disappointment that Matt Murray has been in Ottawa. He's actually the worst goaltender in hockey right now.
Well, I heard a bad stat the other day on the radio with Phil Bourque. He said the bottom 3 goaltenders are Murray, DeSmith, and Jarry. Mm-hmm. They're the bottom 3.
Well, you know, and
that's not very good.
You know, you can point your finger all you want at the goaltending, but you know, I think the problem is much bigger than the goaltending.
Oh, it is.
I think the defensive core, and I'm sorry, I think Chris Letang has outlived his useful life as a Pittsburgh Penguin. He's one of the most overrated players on the team. You know, I don't know why I do know why they haven't got rid of him. Nobody wants to pick up that contract, and nobody's going to give you talent, because for them to take that, you know, the Penguins are going to have to eat some of that salary. And, you know, I would take 2 young defensemen for him any day. He continues to make the same mistakes over and over and over again. And he's not going to change the way he plays. He's come out and said it, you know, and it's ultimately what it's going to do. So it's going to get Mike Sullivan fired.
Well, we're winding down, and I got some trivia for Smoking Jim. He'll like this. It's about his guy, Jaromir Jagr. He's 48 years old. He's still playing. He's what? 50.
49. He just had.
Oh, it
His
was 48
49th.
when I heard the other day.
Yeah, he just
that
had his
he's
49th birthday.
Okay, yeah, he was playing with Czechoslovakia, their team, their league there. So he's still playing hockey out there, Smoking Jim. And he eats the Kit Kats and goes to stripper clubs. But other than that, some things don't change. No doubt about it. No, thanks for your points there, Chip. They're well taken. It's frustrating watching the Penguins for they don't play a full game either. That's what I see.
No, and ultimately, you know, you have to think of this. They've got a new director of hockey operations. They've got a new general manager. And the guy that's the head coach was not hired by either of them.
Right.
So, you know, I have a feeling probably before the end of the year or maybe at the end of the season, you're going to see Mike Sullivan's tenure in Pittsburgh end.
Well, Chip and I both know that it's 4.3 years for the average coach to last. They signed Sullivan after he hit that limit, so we know his days are numbered, for sure.
Contracts anymore are written on disposable paper.
Yes, just like in the college with coaches and saying they're loyal to their players. But, hey, thanks for watching our show. I know it was quite entertaining. Smoking Jim, since that bad collision that he had that we still don't know what's wrong with him, we can only speculate.
We only know that his car was totaled, and my truck is dirty, but it's not.
Yeah, somehow his vision has gotten better when he had cataracts, so somehow after the surgery it's even better since his accident. But please stay Joey strong.